Hello and welcome to the 150% Woke podcast.
Available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then there's a bunch of random fucking websites.
Okay.
I've searched up our podcast on Google because I'm wondering what pops up, and there's a bunch of random ass websites that are have got it's like a review page of our podcast.
Does it get good reviews?
I know because there's nothing there.
Wait, it doesn't have any feedback?
No, because there's a shit ton of them. I'll search up 150% Woke podcast, and then I'll click enter, and it'll come up with Spotify, and then all the other what we're actually available on.
Yeah.
And then there'll be 20 websites of just 150% Woke podcast, and then they'll just have our bloody description for our podcast, and there'll be a section for reviews, which I find really weird. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know. Yeah, so, we're available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and, Google
Usually
Podcasts.
people just say wherever you get your podcasts from.
Wherever you... I don't think anyone says that.
Yes, they do. I hear it on, national radio. They say, available on, they'll say, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's available in store.
I know what you mean. It's just available
available
places.
Yeah. Just fucking, go and get it. Listen to it.
Go listen to a podcast, guys.
All right, so we don't have a topic for today's podcast.
We've kind of gone in a bit raw here today. My dad gave me the duty of coming up with a podcast idea at school today.
Yes, that's true.
Nothing. I had nothing. I'm sitting in science class, done my test, and I'm thinking and nothing pops up. And then you wanted to do something on
QAnon.
I've absolutely no clue about, so that just went down the gutter.
Well, also you didn't read the article that I sent to you.
My dad loves to send me articles on WhatsApp. The only time I'll ever read them is if they appeal to me.
Well, I only send you ones that I think should appeal to you. Will appeal to you.
And then there's a very select few that I choose that appeal to me. I'm a very weird person, man.
Yes, I know.
It's hard to get to me. I need something VR. That shit inspires me.
Yeah.
But if you send me something about a presidential debate out in fucking Indonesia, I'm I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, that would be quite obscure even for me.
Yeah.
So the good news is we are doing another podcast 2 weeks after our last one. I think we've only ever done that once before.
Yeah. Is this the first time we've done that?
No, we've done it once before. And then we that was
That was our 7-month break that we just took without letting anyone know.
Yeah. I know. We Anyway, let's not focus as much on the podcast itself. Let's focus on doing a podcast.
Yeah, we got to figure out what we got to do. We got to have a conversation topic, and then we got to get going. We got to.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about then?
I'm one of those people that just leave everything to the last second.
Yeah.
With everything in life, it's been like that.
And we're seeing the result.
Well, I don't mind. I personally, I don't mind being like that. But it's some things it really affects, like tests and
Yes.
There's this one thing at school we do. I don't know if you ever did this as a kid. Let me know if you did. It's called a science fair.
Yeah.
You did a science fair, right?
I guess so. I don't personally remember ever doing anything for a science fair, but I know of science fairs.
Okay. So we do the science fair, and I always leave it to the last week.
Why?
Because that's just how I am. But then, you have to do an experiment over at least a month. So what I did one year is I had this thing. I think it was how does music affect memory? Fuck. And then what I did was, for the first week, I'd actually do it. So what I'd have is I'd listen to a song. I don't know what fucking song. A song.
Despacito.
Despacito. So myself would write down a few numbers, okay? Give me a geezer memorizing it, right? And then I'd listen to a song. And then after the song, I'd try and memorize it. Try put it in my notes.
Try to remember it. You mean try to recall it.
Recall is the word. Yes, that's what I did. And the first week, I did it. I have no fucking clue how it turned out.
It was very unscientific.
It was so unscientific.
Oh,
but it was year 7 again, so I don't know. And then the week after that, I just kind of just faked shit. Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I slightly remembered this one. I didn't do anything. And then, like, it came to that day for the science fair, and yeah, it was just complete and utter dog shit.
So what happened?
I did it, which I regret. I regret doing it because you actually didn't have to do it, but I did it because I thought you had to do it.
You mean like you presented your results? That you made up.
Fucking terrible. It was so bad, like so unbelievably bad, and it was just, oh my god, it was a shit show. But yeah, that's my science fair story. Did you do anything as a kid in school that was like you have like a funny story about? Like, say you were you were in
like
school.
To do with like schoolwork.
Yeah. So say you get given like a project and you just piss about the whole time. Like, any funny stories from a project when you were in school?
I'm just trying to think. Like, not really in high school. I don't really remember doing a project in high school, but I remember some things from university. But they're not really that funny stories. I remember we had this.
Tell me about your uni life, Dad. I don't think I've ever asked you any question about uni. I don't think you've ever told. I didn't even know you went to uni.
Did you not?
No, I didn't know you went to uni. My dad works in...
Don't say where I work.
He works in this place at this address. Go fucking find him and beat the living shit out of him. No. He works as... Yeah, so you work as like a... He doesn't have a shitty job, basically. You got a decent job. So I assumed you went to uni. But you never actually told me that you did.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to uni?
You
can disclose that.
Yeah, that's fine. I went to the University of Victoria in Canada, which was... Why is that funny?
It's not. Okay, continue. Just continue. I just like to
Anyway, so I was pretty young when I went there because I was one of the, like you are, I was one of the youngest kids in my year. So I was actually 17 when I started university, which was my first mistake.
That is that is pretty young though to start uni.
Yeah, it is. Well, I turned 18 like after the end of the first semester, but still it was quite young. I went straight from high school.
So why was uni a mistake?
Well, no, it wasn't a mistake going to university.
But starting that young.
Yeah. To be fair, if I'd taken a year off, I don't think I would have gone back to university. Like, that's the kind of...
I think that's what you were thinking at the time. You were like, oh, if I take a year off...
Well, actually, no. Like, what happened was I got early acceptance in the end of the first semester at the end of my grade 12 year. And then I was like, sweet, I'm in. I didn't apply to any backup universities or colleges or anything.
So you got lucky.
Well, I got accepted early, but then it was the first year, one of the first years they were doing that. And they said, subject to your final results. I was like, yeah. And then I was just like, sweet. And then so I just didn't like really do fuck all the second semester. And then they withdrew my offer.
So you got kicked out of uni?
No, I didn't get kicked out. This is when I finished high school.
Oh.
So it was like, okay, think about it like this. Instead of like before the end of term 2 in your last year of high school, you get accepted into the university that you want to go to. And then you're like, okay, sweet. And they're like subject to like your end of year like test results, but like based on what you've done.
Right.
Like as long as you keep it up.
Okay. So like what you're trying to say is like, if you continue to do well, in uni
at the level that you're currently at.
Okay, fair enough.
And then so I didn't. I didn't do bad, but I like slightly. Like,
you just became a me for half a year.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh shit! Okay.
No, I just didn't like focus as much as you would when you're like 16 years old and like just told you, okay, you got in, like you don't care. Anyway, this is like taking a long part of the story to tell us. So I didn't get into university. I had no idea what I was going to do. I hadn't applied to any other schools. And it was like, so I was like, oh, okay, shit, I guess like I'm not going to university. And then they made a big fuck up. And because that happened to a lot of people that year. So they basically...
So you were living in Vancouver?
Victoria.
I always get those ones confused.
Yeah.
So did you ever live in Vancouver?
No, I never lived there.
Well,
when I was like 2 years old, I lived there, but I for all intents and purposes, I never lived there.
So wait, so say I go to Canada next year for a school exchange, where would I be going?
To Mount Doug in Victoria, my old high school.
Oh, see, I have this friend on Xbox who also shall keep unnamed, and he lives in Vancouver.
Okay,
and I really wanted to go meet him.
Okay, well you could do. Yeah, you just take the ferry. Take the ferry.
Take the ferry. How close are they?
I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's like an under 2 hour ferry trip. It's like an hour and 40 minutes or something.
Not bad. I'll go visit my mate.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, continue with the uni story.
Okay, so where was I up to? So I didn't get. So
It happened to a lot of people.
They withdrew my offer, and then so I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. I was just working, thinking, well, shit, fuck my life now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And my parents were all pissed off and stuff.
Yeah, as they would.
And so then with like
Good old
3
Gonga.
weeks,
Shout out Gonga, being all pissed off at Dad when he.
and like 3 weeks before school started, they were like, "Oh, you actually got in," but then there was no classes available because everybody had already registered.
That's a big fucking emotional roller coaster. That one
Well,
is.
it's because my parents didn't really give me any guidance. Like, they didn't like say like, "Oh, we should apply." To be fair, I was probably quite arrogant, so I was probably like, "Nah, I'm gonna get in there. Like, I don't fucking need these backup schools." To be fair, it was probably mostly my fault.
You
So,
were
like,
quite smart.
but
yeah,
I know, but I was also that young, and like obviously when you're
Yeah.
like 16, 17, you're like pretty stupid, as you know.
Hey, I'm only 14, mate. I still got that to look forward to.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, what happened? So this was back in the days, obviously before the internet kind of thing, where you got like a
Obviously, he's
course
an old man.
catalog. So it was like a fucking big, like, I don't know, like 300 page like book. And it's like, this is like the university. And you're like, okay, like page 1.
You gotta read through every page of a 300.
It's like, there's the map. It's like, where is the science building? Where's the... So anyway,
So there was no tours around. Did they give you tours?
No.
Or did you just have to read a fucking Harry Potter sized book?
No, like this was like about like, okay, so once you got accepted to the university, it's like, okay, what classes are you going to take? Like, what are you going to do?
Okay.
There's like a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah.
A lot of different buildings, a lot of different stuff. So this was like
Similar how
the book
to it
about
is
like,
nowadays.
yeah, well, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, the point being, I read through this book and I was like, oh shit, okay, like, and this is the second mistake I did. The first one was going like so young, straight after high school.
Right.
The second mistake was like in my like dumb, like 17-year-old thinking. I was like, okay, I have to decide what
I would hit the table. It makes a weird muffle noise.
All right,
and
yeah.
the audience goes, ugh.
Anyway, okay, so I was like, I have to decide what degree I'm doing, like what 4-year
Right.
degree.
Okay.
So I went through and I was like, okay, it's either going to be education or commerce, business, right?
So can you elaborate? Because there's some people that don't fucking know.
Well, like
Education, teaching.
yeah,
Shit.
or like because that was my first
You've
choice.
always wanted to be a teacher.
I
You've
know,
always
I
told me
did.
I want to be a teacher.
Yeah, I want
You'd
to
be
be a
too ruthless. You'd be way too
yeah, well, that's what
ruthless.
everybody says to me. Which is
Yeah,
probably,
no, you'd
I
get-
wanted to be a primary school teacher. Anyway, that was my number one thing. Why is that
would be
funny?
Fuck, nah, you can't be a primary school.
I'm good with kids, man. Kids love me.
Not when they piss you off.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's why I'd be a good teacher because I'd like get them into like shape and shit.
Because you know, nowadays schools fucked
Yeah,
now.
nowadays,
You
but-
can't
yeah, but-
touch kids now.
Yeah,
You that.
I know that. But like back
That's
in those
stupid.
days, like I could have. Well, okay, who knows what would have happened? Anyway, I was
He's
like,
not a teacher. Point being, he's not a teacher.
okay, so anyway, and then the third mistake I made was asking my dad what I should do.
Oh god.
And he said, well, you can always do like a postgrad in education, so you should do commerce because then you can do like anything. And I was like, okay. So then I did that and I registered for all these classes. And the first year was really good. I enjoyed it. I had some good friends. I did some electives. I had this German.
Girlfriend at the time?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I went to a lot of dorm parties and stuff. That was pretty fun.
Dorm parties, eh?
First kind of semester at uni is pretty good because a lot of kids are away from their parents for the first time.
And they just go hard.
They go
fucking
hard,
go
and
ham.
there's a sizable minority that are not there after the first midterms. So like the middle of the first. So this is 2 semesters, right? So like it's like September to December, and then like let's say like January through I don't know, whatever, May or some shit. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but anyway, like you have like your first kind of like half term exams, and then the ones that just went hard, like some of them were just like, oh yeah, like. I'm fucked
Let's
now because I haven't
fucking
done
party.
anything. Well, yeah, and then they get the results like, oh.
And then, yeah.
And it costs money to go there, right? It costs, so like, you know. Anyway,
They basically kind of just fucked over there, like,
yeah.
whole year.
I had some good electives. I had a German class. It was really fun. There was a good group of us. We always used to
Can you
party.
give us a bit of a geezer German?
No, I
Okay.
can't.
Alright.
And then, what was I going to say? Yeah, and then I don't know, and then I can't remember. I think I went to New Zealand for that summer. It was a bit of a weird time, and then I came back and I did okay. And then it was the second year. I really fucking hated my second year, to be honest with you. That was shit.
So how many years were you at uni for?
4.
Ooh,
4.5, because for some reason I needed an extra credit. So I had to take this
a
one
singular extra
Yeah,
credit.
so I had to take this summer school thing. It was like an extra 3 months.
Imagine needing one credit.
I needed one.
And you have to take a whole
And I did the
summer
easiest
school.
fucking course I could find. It was some I still remember it was taught by this real old man. Like he was old.
It's always the old people.
He would be
though.
he would have been in his mid 70s. And we had to watch, all I remember is it was about leadership, I think. We had to watch these classic movies. And then one was Patton about the war. And it was about this general. And,
Sounds really boring.
yeah, it was fucking boring. And it was the middle of the summer, middle of the day.
Dudes, the teacher's just falling asleep in class type of shit.
Anyway, I remember that. And then in the third year, it got better. I started enjoying it more. And then I just couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there in fourth year. So that was basically it. It was overall, I would say it was a below satisfactory experience.
It was a bit of a train wreck, that.
It was a bit of a train wreck. The funniest story I probably got for you is during that first year, I think it was at the end of my first year, because remember I said the first semester was all right, and then the second semester, I can't really remember why, but things started to go a bit wrong or whatever. I wasn't really in a good place or whatever. Yeah, it was a bit hard for me that second semester, just for me personally. I was going through a lot of shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it was seriously hardcore.
I feel like that's actually common though. It is. It actually. I feel like it
maybe.
is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that when I went to uni, I was really at my lowest, and I was like,
yeah. Well,
shit.
that's actually true. That definitely happened.
They're away from home and shit.
No, I wasn't away from home. I was living at home. Oh. Well, actually, the thing is, I get the years mixed up. Maybe this was during second year. I think what I'm thinking about is I think it was the second year that the first year was fine. I think it was the second year that was really bad, the whole second year, and I wasn't living at home then. Don't get distracted by your phone.
I'm not distracted by my phone. I'm just checking the time.
So that's what it was. The first year was fine. First summer was really good. All my mates came back from uni. We had a great time. Second year was really rough. And I moved out of home, and I was in this flat in the first thing. And that was
it's always the first flat.
Yeah, and then it was and then I came back from New Zealand, and they kicked me out of the flat. And then so I moved in with these two weird guys. Actually, one of them was all right. One of them was really weird. This is a true, fucking honest and true story.
Oh god, okay.
Okay, this flatmate it was moved in with these two guys, right? And then I still remember the first time that I ever had drinks with them. This was really within a couple of weeks of moving in there. And the guy was like, "Oh, do you want to see some cool shit?" And I was like, "Okay." So I went up to his room, and I swear to God, he had all this Nazi paraphernalia. And he dressed up, and he put on this SS thing, and he was goose-stepping around, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And they brewed their own beer and shit. One guy was all right. Funny. The other guy was weird, man. And I was like, oh,
no, everyone has that story though of the one college roommate. That's
They were all right, but I just didn't really hang around with them a lot. And then I remember I had to do this finite math class, and I remember I don't know why I started off doing fine. It was pretty easy, and I just didn't do the assignments. I couldn't be asked. Basically, I was my lowest priority course,
right?
And so basically, I was failing the class.
Okay,
and I remember I had to get a 60-something% on the final exam to just pass the course. And I had to get all these credits or else I couldn't continue on with my commerce degree. So I crammed studying this fucking thing. And I did the test, and I was like, okay, it's going to be close, man. I don't know. And this is in the days, obviously, before the internet,
right.
Where during the holidays, right, they posted the results outside the teacher's
I've
office.
Seen those in high school movies.
You gotta go and find your name, and you get your result, and it's your final year.
So embarrassing.
Everything. And I remember I was fucking bricking it, and I was school was finished. I was working and stuff, and I was I biked up to the uni. I was like, okay, please, Jesus, pass this course. And I found my name, and it was D-, and I was yes. It was the lowest grade ever. It was the just pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I honestly but
D-.
But I'm still pretty impressed. I did fuck all semester.
There you
After
go,
the
guys.
first 2
Do
weeks-
fuck all in school.
No,
You'll still
but
pass.
luckily it
That's
was
Sean's message for
No,
message
that
for
is
today.
not good advice. That's all my official university transcript is a D- in finite math.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, shit.
I think, you know what, personally, I think it's a good place to end it on, because that is a funny story.
Well, I hope so. I feel like this is like a
no, that
Seinfeld
was good.
episode.
I was intrigued during that thing. I was like, oh shit, what's happening next? The college kid was a good add-on.
All right. Okay. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. Hopper, do you want to do the outro?
I forgot how did we outro these.
I think it just says all the stuff that we wasted 5 minutes talking about at the beginning about how to find our podcast.
Find our podcast, guys.
But yeah, like, please leave us some comments. As Hopper said at the beginning, on our YouTube channel, please subscribe and like.
We've got like 4 subscribers. So
and let us know what you'd like us to do a podcast on, what you think would be interesting to hear. All right. I think we'll have to do a lot of editing on this one, but we got there in the end. We got some content. We got some content.
Yeah, we got some content.
All right. Okay. Thank you all.
Sayonara.
Listeners. Thank you. See you next time in 2 weeks. All right.
Fuck you.